Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Bat Châtillon 15555. It's the Tier 9 French SPG. It's located on the northeast corner of Oyster Bay, and it's under the command of talon1958 of OLIMP. And it's got the improved rammer, the bounty rotation device, and I think that's the movement, well, it's the thingy, you know, for increasing the speed. Not the turbo, but you know what I think. It's the speed innovation equipment. I can never remember the name of that. Somebody will correct me. Anyway, 155mm howitzer mounted on top of the hull, which was French in origin. It's got 680 alpha, 48mm of pin, 7.6 meters on the burst radius, 12.5 to 27 seconds of stun. He's lined it up and he's ready for the enemy. Now it's quite interesting that he actually went over to the south side, or rather what might be the east side of the map, to fire into the west side of the map. Now I think he's actually hoping that he might be able to get shots on some of the enemy that are going to positions where they think that they're in cover of the rock, but they're not. I've done that, of course, in the past because, of course, I discovered Nigel's spot at C1 on mines, mainly because I kept going to the side and the enemy didn't realise that I was doing it. That's a lovely shot there on the Object 430 for 214 hit points. Now, the reason I'm doing this game is because last week Angelina won the competition and Talon admitted it. She just had a much better week and she got a much better game in than Talon did, and therefore he wasn't going to be able to get another game in to win the contest. So he decided not to carry on, but he did one game and he sent this one in saying, look at this. So we're doing the replay even though Angelina's already won. Good hit, 210 on the lure. He is hitting these tanks in the side. You've got a much better chance of penetrating an enemy tank if you hit the side of them rather than the front. And if you fire on mines at the tanks coming up to the center line, coming up to the hill entrance, you won't be able to hit them in the sides. You can only really hit them in the front. And he tracks that one. So yes, there's a very good reason for actually firing at the sides of vehicles. And so yes, if you can find a spot where it's possible to shoot into the enemy sides, you might get more hit points than if you fire at them when they're heading straight towards you. Another enemy tank thinks he's safe. In fact, it's the 430 and he has the good sense to pull back there. Meanwhile, this little light, the T-49's been hiding. You need to lead that one. He did get 104 hit points. Light tanks tend to move faster than the standard ordinary mediums or heavy, so you have to give them a little more lead just to make sure that you smack them. He was close enough to get some damage. If he'd actually touched the guy, I think he might have actually penetrated him. Rounds out. Looks good. Direct hit. 146 right on the frontal armor. Now the standard reload for this Arty is 28.76 seconds. But we can see here that Talon's managed to knock that down all the way to 23.99. So he's dropped it by at least 4 seconds. Okay, he's aiming up onto the... Yes, go for the Jagdpanther fight. Direct hit on the rear courage. Oh, that was excellent. He didn't know that the guy was going to stop suddenly like that, but he actually timed it to actually hit the side of the vehicle as it came out. But instead, he actually got the rear of the vehicle because the guy stops suddenly. Okay, he's loaded. Can't hit the 430 because he's in cover of the rock. Oh, there's a target he definitely wants to hit. That's the Waffenträger. And although it's a partially obscure reticule, he will get that one over. If you've got slightly more than half of the reticule showing, you should be able to get it over any obstruction and into the enemy. You have to take into account there's a small amount of RNG that might come in and say, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get it over. But he's also moving because, of course, there is an enemy tank near him at this moment, and he's well aware of that. And that enemy tank has been wiped out. It was a GeForce 1006. Our T30 took care of him. But now he's moved to a new position because, of course, he needs to stay in the game and keep pumping those shells in. Still equal in numbers. The enemy has slightly more in the way of hit points, though. And there's that T30, an enemy T30. Lines up ahead of his track. Direct hit. 182, good shot. Only moves a little bit. That's the good thing about the Bat Châtillon 155, 55 and the 58, is that you can just move a little bit just by pointing the vehicle in a different direction to the one where you're actually intending to go. Intending to shoot, rather, I should say. And if you do that, then obviously just changing position means just moving forwards or backwards just a little bit, keeping the gun still pointed in the enemy's direction. Yeah, got a bit deep water there for a second. He's looking. He's found the object 430 again, who's backing down. Lines up and rounds out. Just next to him. Still got some stun. He's only got actual damage at the moment, 1,286. No stun assist. And there's that Waffenträger. He is missing a few hit points, so I suspect we did smack him a little bit with that shot that he fired in there. But the object 430 keeps coming up, rounds out. It hits the ridgeline. Okay, we're one up on the enemy at the moment. We're down on hit points, though. So we are pretty sure that the Waffenträger is somewhere behind these bushes. We can't see him, so we can't be certain. Okay, that's just a little reminder if he is still there. We've got plenty of ammunition to spare. Yes, there he is. We just saw him for a brief moment, and he is behind that bunker. There's the 430, making a quick dash for it. Now, he can't get it there, but he can get it here. Rounds out. Yes! Excellent shot. 293. He anticipated the guy was going to move and come out from behind that rock, so he only needed to lead the target just a little bit. Fire in the shell just as he anticipated the guys going through. You have to do a lot more anticipation when it comes to Arty shells, because our shells fly a lot slower than standard shells from tanks. And of course, they're flying over longer distances. Most tank shots, they're over fairly short distances. Well, he anticipated the T-49 would move forward a bit, but he didn't. He stopped suddenly, and now we lost sight of him. The T-30's just around the corner. Oh, somebody just hit him badly, though. And there's that T-49 again. I wonder if he's going to go down that gully. No, he's pointing the other way, so that's obviously he's wanting to go down that corner. I think he fired that one in thinking that the guy might be backing up. Enemy RT in this game is an M53, M55 and an M40, M43. It's tier 9 game with tier 8 tanks. There's the other RT on our team firing in. And there's the Jagdpanther Zwei again. Seen him before. That's the same one that we hit next to the bunker. Yep. 250 hit points. It's useful. So far, no stun assist at all, though. I'm not sure there's anyone there to spot that guy. The Waffenträger has suddenly been spotted again because our guys are starting to get close to him. Of course, he's hiding behind the bunker because he knows if he goes to the bush, there's a fair chance that he might actually get hit. And firing in here actually might be beneficial because it might teach the guy not to look down there. And, oh, the T-49 rounds out ahead of his track. Unfortunately, it was just a little too much lead there. We're now down by 2 tanks. Now, this Arty does move fairly quickly, 56.3 kilometers an hour. So if he needs to, he can move a motor across the map. But we are now starting to suffer. Well, we got another kill, but unfortunately, we've lost one as well. We lost the Scorpion G. And there's only 4 left on our team. And we're still down on hit points, and now we're down another one. So now we're down to just 3 tanks, 2 Arty and 1 heavy tank. And the heavy tank is the Patriot, and he's right in the middle of the map. We know the Waffenträger was seen, and we saw the spot where he was, but Talon's now decided that he needs to pay attention to whoever's actually going towards our cap area. There's one Arty there. And the Arty didn't survive very long, and he hasn't had a chance to dial in, but he's dialing in here. Going after the Object 430, rounds out. Oh, we got a direct hit. A perfect direct hit right into the side of the 430. And that's the same 430 that he's hit several times before. I kind of think that 430 is probably going to want to get revenge. There is one in the cap at the moment, but he's not stayed in the cap, so they are coming after him. Okay. And we've lost our teammate. The Patriot gets taken out by the T-30's 155mm gun. We're firing one back, and we do get a hit, but now we're in reload, and there may be enemy tanks on the way. So what we can do is we can try and make ourselves useful and go after that Waffenträger. And in fact, the Object 430 is coming after us. He's seen us, and the Waffenträger finds us instead. So sadly, we didn't survive this one, but it was a good game. Here's the end of battle stats, and yes, I'm afraid Talon didn't get a mastery out of this one at all, but he did get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6 in total. His win rate was very good. It was 1,826, which is, well, on the high side for a losing game. But he did mostly pick up standard ordinary damage. He didn't actually get any assists in this game as such. Let's have a look at his team score and see where he is. Well, you can see he's right at the top of the table for his own team. But the high scorer in this game was that T-30 he hit towards the end of the game. That guy got a high caliber and 4,091 hit points of damage. Second highest was their XM57 with 3,708. And the third highest was the Rambo on our own team with 3,589. Talon picked up 2,290 hit points of damage, which means that he was beaten by 3 members of the enemy team and 2 members of his own team, places him 6th on damage. When it came to kills, though, he didn't get any at all, but the top scorer was the T-30 again, got 4 kills. 3 kills went to the XM57, the Rambo, and the SU-130PM in second place, and in joint third place, we've got the Waffenträger T-49 and the M53, M55 on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, he's mid-table with only 302, But the top scorer is the XM57 with 1,280. In fact, he's the only one to get over 1,000 base. The T30 getting 961 and the Title 1 getting 851. He fired 19 rounds, which is a healthy amount of rounds to be fired in the game. He got 8 direct hits, none of them penetrated, but he did get 15 splash. 2,290 hit points, all of it done at more than 300 meters. Did receive 1 hit, it was a penetration, that was from the Waffenträger, but I do agree with what he was doing. He was going after that Waffenträger to try and take him out because the guy was very light on hit points. Even a ram probably would have taken him out of the game, except the Waffenträger knew where he was and was ready for him when he suddenly appeared. 6 enemy vehicles were damaged, none were destroyed, and he got 15 stuns in the game, but no stun assist at all. He actually made a loss for the game of 12,441 credits because of repair and ammunition. And he got 30 bonds for a mission achievement and 453 experience points. That's all he took away. But at least he did try to get a better replay than Angelina, and on this occasion failed. So Angelina did win the weekend. And unfortunately, this one came in just a little too late for me to include it in the video with him and his SU8 replay. So Angelina won in her 212A. But it's another week now, so he's got another chance to win the competition and win the weekend lie-in for next week. Hope you enjoyed this brief replay. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.